Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا ما تعلمنا وزدنا بفضلك علما وتعليما إنك على كل شيء قدير. Okay, so والخامس أنه يثبت على الراحلة بلا مشقة شديدة. Right, that will not be too difficult to ride a horse slash camel, etc. And then where's the sadis? So he says here the sadis, and he says والسابع, he adds in the short commentary وجود ما مر من الزاد وغيره وقت خروج الناس من بلده. والثامن أن يبقى بعد الاستطاعة ما يمكن الوصول إليه, the same kind of thing. Um, okay. So then it says ولا يجب على الأعمى الحج إلا إذا وجد قائدا. So you're not expected to travel across the whole world. So it says it is not obligatory for somebody who is blind to go on Hajj unless he finds somebody to help him. Right? You're not expected to walk across the world blind. وَمَنْ عَجَزَ عَنِ الْحَجِّ بِنَفْسِهِ. So you don't fulfill the conditions of being obliged to go on Hajj by yourself, but you do have the means to do something else. It says وَجَبَ عَلَيْهِ الْإِسْتِنَابَةُ إِنْ قَدَرَ عَلَيْهَا بِمَالِهِ أَوْ بِمَنْ يُطِيعُهُ. Right? So basically you don't have the means. I'm blind, but I can pay somebody to go for me. I'm not able to get on a horse, but I can pay somebody to go for me. I have a problem, of medical issue, I can't go on a plane, but I can pay somebody to go for me. إن قدر عليها بماله أو بمن يطيعه. Right? He says the person who obeys him. What does he mean by that? And he says بأن وجد متبرعا يحج عنه. Right. Yeah. Okay. So or you just find somebody who's going to do it mutabarri' just for the sake of Allah, right? So you have an uncle, he doesn't have the money to go on Hajj and he won't be able to go on Hajj. Say, uncle, can I do Hajj for you? Are you sexual? Right. Okay. Okay, and then just side point here, it says وللولي منع أنثى من المشي فيما لا يلزمها وللوالد منع ولده من حج تطوع. So this is a mistake here. Hajim, this is not Ibn Hajar, right? This is Ibn Hajar. Min Hajim, this is Hajj, right? This is a typo here. So there's a general thing with obeying your parents. You have to obey your parents in things that are risking your life, or obeying your parents in which is distancing yourself from them for no reason, and something that could bring shame to the family. So here it says, for example, or so the girl, for example, she says, I want to live in this really suspect area, with I want to share a house with a bunch of men, you know. So like, can she do that? So then it's really suspicious. So and it basically harms the family's name. So the parents can stop her from doing that, even if there's no khalwa or anything, you know. Let's say, for example, there's two sisters and five men, right? It's not khalwa, but it's like, that's really weird. Why are you sharing a house like that? So the parents can stop منع الأنثى من المشي فيما لا يلزمها, walking somewhere in places she doesn't necessarily have to go. So walking around in a place like that. Similarly, للوالد منع ولده, right, male or female. So you can the parents can stop the son or daughter from doing a sunnah hajj, right? Because you're just going away for no reason, as opposed to I'm going away for work, I'm going away for studies, right? That's different. Go ahead, Yaqub.
So these three reasons are these encompassing all of the this asbab that you have to obey your parents with, or there obviously is
Yes,
more
basically, you have to
cases.
obey your parents in things that would otherwise risk your life. So you say, I want to go bungee jumping. Your dad's like, no, you can't do that. So I want to climb Mount Everest. Like, no, you can't do that. I want to go and volunteer for jihad. You can't do that unless it's a communal obligation, right? But if it's not a communal obligation, it's not fard ayn, it's not fard kifaya, then right, then you can't go and do that. You can't just go and volunteer in jihad when there's enough people to do it. You can't travel away, go somewhere else for no reason whatsoever. And you and a woman can't do things that could, for example, again, as you mentioned, bring suspicion to the family. That's a harm to the family. And neither could do something that is rude, even if it's not haram, right?
So is the default that you can go and do something like bungee jumping where you might put yourself in danger? It's just
Yeah,
that
if
then
it's not if like if it's not actually dangerous, meaning like what's the likelihood of you dying bungee jumping? It's like very unlikely, then you can do it.
The only one that's مختص بالنساء is the shame.
No, I think of the other thing as well. So let's say, for example, like it might because it's just that's just traditionally like that, but it could be, let's say, for example, I'm gonna go and do da'wah for the YMCA. You know the YMCA,
Yes.
right? So I'm gonna go and live there, like doing da'wah. It's like so Fareed, you live in the YMCA like building. So yeah, that's like really weird, you know? So then basically, is it normal that there would be rumors that like this person's like that or something like that? Like, and would that affect the family? So yeah. So now it's a haqq of the family. You can't do that. Like you're affecting the family, you know?
Oh, so there's really no there's no case where it's really just specific to the woman.
Not really, no.
Okay, I see.
No. Okay. And then it says, so إلا إذا كان بينه وبين مكة دون مسافة القصر فيلزمه بنفسه, i.e., so I'm not able to get on a horse. Okay, how far are you from Mecca? Like 20 miles. Okay, that's not Masafat al-Qasr. You have to go. Right? As long as you can, then you're obliged to go. So the whole issue is, oh, I can't get in a car, right? So then you have to do this. Okay, what if I can't walk 20 miles? Okay, then you can't walk 20 miles. That's something else. Um, لأنه لا يتعذر عليه الركوب فيما بينه من محمل etc. ولا نظر للمشقة عليه لاحتمالها في حد القرب وإن كانت تبيح التيمم كما أمر, right? So the fact that it's difficult is not an issue, right? We're not talking about that. The point is going to be impossible. Like I couldn't do that. I'm too old to walk 20 miles. Okay, 10 miles. I'm too old to walk 10 miles. Okay, a mile a day. I can't do that. Okay, خلاص. You're excused then. Um, so it says, أما من مات بعد استقرار النسك عليه ولم يؤده. Somebody who dies after having been obliged to do Hajj or Umrah. فعلى وصيه ووارثه فالحاكم إنابة من يؤديه عنه من تركته فورا. So it says somebody who dies, then it is on the person, on his executor, the person who executes his bequests, or his heirs, And if not, then the ruler has to take money from his inheritance and have somebody go on Hajj on his behalf. فإن لم تكن تركة, if there is no inheritance, سن للوارث والأجنبي وإن لم يأذن له الوارث أن يؤدي نسكه وإن لم يستطع لأنه بالدين أشبه. Right? So there's nobody to do anything. There's no money. It's recommended for the heirs to do Hajj on his behalf, or even Ajnabi, right? I say, hey, Yaqub, did your dad ever do Hajj? No, rahimahullah, he passed away, wasn't able to do it. Okay, I'm doing it for him, okay? I've already done Hajj. I'm doing it for him this year. خلاص. Right? وَلِلْأَجْنَبِي وَإِن لَمْ يَأْذَنْ لَهُ الْوَارِث. So this is, so it says, right. بخلاف الصوم فلا بد من إذنه لأنه عبادة بدنية محضة. So what's the difference between fasting and Hajj? Fasting, when I die and I have a qada to make up, my family can do it and my friends can do it, or somebody who doesn't know me, someone who's ajnabi, can do it with my permission. But people can't just volunteer to do my qada fast for me, nor could they do my prayers for me. It says why? لأنه عبادة بدنية محضة, because it's a physical act of worship, as opposed to Hajj. It's kind of in between. It's financial as well. It's a bit like zakat. Right? You could pay zakat for somebody else with their permission. Right? Okay. Go ahead, Yaqub.
Yeah, so in Sharh Ibn al-Qasim, he notes that it's rajih, I believe, to follow the that you should, I don't know if it's a call of Imam Nawawi, that you should fast instead of paying for the deceased person. So this is, what do you say, that's not rajih actually? It's actually, it's wajib for you to just pay for making up the fast person's, the deceased person's fast. So you can follow that position that you, or is there khilaf?
Let me remember properly. So basically, I can't recall right now what the issue was. He said the person dies with fast to make up. From what I recall, you can do either. You could either fast or pay. So I remember.
But you need the permission either way. Like it's not a khilaf based off that.
Exactly. You need the permission.
Oh, I
So
see.
you're either a qarib or you have the idhn, but not just anything. You can't just say, oh, for example, I'm a wealthy Muslim. Every year I just give millions of dollars away, saying, oh, this is for the kafara for so and so. You can't do that. Just random things.
Even if you're qarib, you need idhn, no?
No, you don't need. If you're qarib, you don't need
Oh,
it.
okay. And that's
The
just determined off.
hadith mentions فَلْيَصُمْ عَنْهُ وَلِيُّهُ. I believe that's comes a hadith. فَلْيَصُمْ عَنْهُ وَلِيُّهُ. So waliya means to be close to somebody. I remember
So
correctly.
the boundaries are those who receive tariqah.
I don't know how far it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, can't remember right now. Okay, فصل يحرم بالعمرة كل وقت. أي الإنسان المسلم يحرم بالعمرة في كل وقت. So at this any time of the day and year, it doesn't matter when, there's no time in which you cannot enter ihram for umrah. وبالحج في أشهره. As for Hajj, it has a window, which is Shawwal, so the day of straight after Eid, ذو القعدة وعشر من ذي الحجة, that first 9 days plus up till Fajr of before Eid. Okay, فلو أحرم به في غير وقته إن عقد عمرة. So you after, for example, you entered Hajj after the Hajj, after the Hijjah. What does that count as? That counts as a Umrah. Okay. وإن كان بمكة, even if he's in Mecca itself. فيحرم بالحج منها. You can enter ihram for Hajj from Mecca already. Right? So, yeah. So you just happen to be in Mecca already. You're now considered a people of the Mecca. Right? as opposed to Umrah, وَبِالْعُمْرَةِ مِنْ أَدْنَى الْحِلِّ. So for Umrah, you have to go to the closest part outside of the Haram. So we have these three circles or three lines. We have the Miqat, we have the Haram, and then we have the Masjid. So in order to do Tawaf, you have to be inside the Masjid, right? And then there's the Haram, which is the sacred area. And then there's the Miqat. So the closest part that is not Haram, right? That is called Adna al-Hil, which is usually going to Masjid Aisha. Okay. And it says, وغير المكي يحرم بالحج والعمرة من الميقات. So somebody who's not in Mecca. So again, when you said Mecca, that means someone who's in Mecca. So you just came to Mecca to just work for 6 months, and then now Hajj season comes. You do not have to go out to the miqat. But here you don't live in, you're not in Mecca. So now you're coming to do Hajj or Umrah. You have to do ihram from the miqat. وهو لتهامة اليمن يلملم ولنجده قرن. Right? So the Najd means the highlands. So the highlands of Yemen. So here's here. Where is this place? So it's to the south of Mecca, right? Or to the southeast, which is Qarn. So importantly, there's a place called Qarn and there's a place called Qaran. They're not the same. So Uwais al-Qarani is not the same as Uwais as Qarni. Qarn and Qaran, they're not the same. So anyway, so you have these two directions from the south, which is either south coming due south, like you go down, or southeast, which is going to be, which it says wali najdihi, where is it? Qarn. Wali ahl al-Iraq, which is now northeast, ذات عرق. Wali ahl al-Sham, which is now northwest. ومصر والمغرب, and to the west, Juhfa. So Juhfa is a place that is it doesn't exist anymore really, but it's basically right next to Jeddah. So practically Jeddah. So it says قرية خربة. It doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist anymore. It says أقرب من رابغ إلى مكة على 4 مراحل. It talks about this place called Rabigh. Right. So but it's basically Jeddah today. ولأهل المدينة والشام ذو الحليفة. So now you're coming from the north. There's a place called ذو الحليفة. المسمى بأبيار علي. We call it Abar Ali. Right. So Abyar and Abar are two plurals of the wells of Ali. Right. So you're coming from Medina or you're coming from straight down. Right. Then you're coming down from the northwest. Then you go through the Dhul Hulayfa. So Abar Ali. فإن جاوز الميقات مريد النسك ثم أحرم فعليه الدم. So it says if somebody crosses the miqat who wants to do Hajj and Umrah, right? So as opposed to somebody who doesn't want to, right? So I don't want to do ihram. I don't want to do these things. You don't need to enter ihram. So you don't need to enter ihram to come to the haram, right? So ثم أحرم. So then he crosses the line and then enters ihram. فعليه دم. إن لم يعد إلى الميقات قبل التلبس بالنسك. Right? So unless you go back to the miqat, you go back to the miqat before you start doing the rituals. If you start doing the rituals of let's say for example, you start doing your tawaf, and then you say, you know what, I'm going to go back. Then khalas, you've already broken the sacred uh, precinct. You've broken the rituals of the sacred precinct by not entering ihram. So he says, وَبِي مَنْ لَا يُرِيدُهُ عند المجازة وإن أراده بعد كما مر. Right? So it says you have to enter ihram before you cross that line if you want to do Hajj. But I'm just going to visit my friend in Umrah. I'm just going to visit my friend in Mecca. I don't need to do it. وَإِنْ أَرَادُهُ بَعْدُ. Even if you later on you want to, right? Later on you decide to, you do not have to do that. You do not have to. You can now consider Mecca, right? I'm just working in Mecca for a few months. And then he says, أركان الحج خمسة الإحرام والوقوف بعرفة والطواف والسعي والحلق. Go ahead, طالب.
So let's say I visit my friends in Mecca, and without the duration of residency, like without the 4 full days, let's say I just visit him for 2 days. Can I then start Umrah from there when I change my mind?
Yes, you can. You can go now. Go to Adnan Hill. Yes, correct.
I would have to leave the hill.
You have to go to, because in the Makki has to go to Adnan al Hill in order to
Okay.
do Umrah. But
You're right.
he does it from his house he does ihram from his house for Hajj. So
Okay.
you're doing it from your house where you're staying. You do not have to go back to the miqat. Okay, فصل أركان الحج. Okay, وأركان عمرة أربع وهي الإحرام والطواف والسعي والحلق. So what are the bare essentials of Hajj? To do ihram, to be at Arafah, to do your tawaf, to do your sa'i, and to shave your head or shorten your hair. Umrah is 4 things: ihram, tawaf, sa'i, and halq. Go ahead, Talib.
I'm sorry, with regards to the miqat aspect, do I have a fixed miqat? Like, let's say I am from Medina, but I, for some reason, want to enter from another side. Would that be a
Yes.
problematic?
So let's say for example you flew in a spiral, right? You flew in a spiral. So you're in Ankara, and you flew in a spiral all the way around Arabia, over Iran, over the sea to the south of Yemen, and then your spiral got closer and closer and closer, and you ended up coming from the west. Then you have to enter Haram from the west. So it's not from where you're coming from, it's the line that you cross.
Okay, because sometimes it seems like uh, one is assigned a fixed miqat, so that's why I was confused.
No, it's not like that. No,
Okay, well, coffee.
no. Okay, go ahead, Yaqub.
Just to be clear, you can enter from your house. You do not need to go to Masjid Aisha if you're even still in Safar, but you came to visit your friend.
Yeah, you came to visit your friend, and then you said, you know what? I'm just going to stay here and I'm going to do Hajj.
Okay, I
Okay.
see.
Yeah. So فصل أركان الحج خمسة. Okay, we did that. فصل الإحرام نية الحج أو العمرة أو هما. Right? It's a niyyah. It is not putting clothes on or not putting clothes on. That's something else. Right? The niyyah itself. So if you never change your clothes, you can still do ihram. Right? So I'm doing Hajj, I'm doing Umrah, or both of them, or mutlaqan. وَيَنْعَقِدُ مُطْلَقًا. I am entering pilgrim sanctity to do what though? I don't know. Pilgrim sanctity. So what are you going to do? Hajj or Umrah? I don't know. We'll see. ثُمَّ يَصْرِفُهُ لِمَا شَاء. Right? And then you turn it into whichever you want. It's very different to prayer. وَيُسْتَحَبُّ التَّلَفُّظ بِالنِّيَّةِ. Right? Where are we? And it's good to verbally say, I'm doing X. Okay, فيقول نويت الحج أو العمرة. I have intended to do Hajj or Umrah. أو أحرمت به لله تعالى. أحرمت بالحج لله تعالى وأحرمت بالعمرة لله تعالى. أحرمت, I've entered a sacred state. وإن حج أو اعتمر عن غيره قال نويت الحج أو العمرة عن فلان. Right? So I intend Hajj or Umrah for the sake of so and so. وأحرمت به لله تعالى. ويستحب التلبية مع النية لبيك اللهم لبيك straight away after the intention. والإكثار منها, to keep doing it. ورفع الصوت بها لذكر, and if you are male, to raise your voice. Right. So here's an interesting thing for misogynists like Talib, joking Talib, is, the ahkam رفع صوت المرأة, like when should a woman raise her voice? Right? So should she raise her voice in qira'ah? Yes, but not that loud. Right? Should she raise her voice in qira'ah if there are ajanib? No. If there are non-mahrams around, she shouldn't. So if she shouldn't raise her voice, should she raise her voice with singing? No, she shouldn't. Right? So there's this problem, which is if you don't raise your voice, you have less influence, which is true to some extent, right? So there's this problem, which is women who don't say anything, and because they don't say anything, they are wronged, right? That's true, right? Women are wronged. There is abuse of women. It does exist, and it has existed. But in general, when should a woman raise her voice? The answer is never, basically, right? So, like there's basically no time when a woman should raise her voice. In fact, raising your voice in general is not a good thing, right? So it's not like being loud and shouting. Like, when should you shout outside your window? Like that's not a good thing, right? Maybe situations playing sports, right? Maybe situations like, obviously, practical things you're building, right? Building a construction site, you need to shout, things like that. Hunting, I don't know, war, right? But like things like shouting in a house, right? It's not a good thing. So it's not good to shout, period. And it's really not good for women to raise their voice. It's not feminine to raise your voice, right? Wallahu a'lam. Yeah, so it's not, it's not good to raise your voice, period. So shouting is just not Islamic. That's one of the signs of the Prophet ﷺ, is that he wouldn't raise his voice. Right? So being loud is not good. And then there are certain scenarios where you need to be loud, of course, some practical scenarios. But just for a woman to be loud, like when should a woman raise her voice? Basically never. Right? So let's say وأما غير الذكر فيكره جهره بها بحضرة أجانب. So a hermaphrodite or a female does not raise their voice, right, when there's presence of mahrams. وإلا جهر دون الذكر, right? She raises her voice, but not like a man, right? She doesn't raise her voice like a man. Okay. And also the issue with, for example, why is it like it's makruh for her to recite Quran in the presence of men? It's makruh for her to sing in the presence of men. It's haram for her to call the adhan, right? So here's an issue like, can women get up on the podium and give a speech? Yes. Is it Islamic? Not really. Like there's a difference between, here's a woman teaching a class, like she is the faqiha, you know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Shifa Hitu, right? The daughter of Sheikh Hassan Hitu, right? Like she is a faqiha. What are you going to do? Like not let her talk? But does she need to get up on a podium and speak? Does she need to be? Do I need to see her image on YouTube? You know what I'm saying? There's no need for that. Like she can come and teach men. It's fine. So here's a class, 500 men and one woman. She's talking and people asking questions. It's fine. You know. Imam al-Dhahabi has like I don't know, like 500 female hadith teachers, right? But they don't need to. You don't need to be popular and seen. This whole thing, like I need to be loud and proud and popular. You don't. That's not the place of women. It's not nice. It's unbecoming. إلا في أول مرة فيسر بها. Right, the first time you say labbaik Allahumma labbaik is you do it quietly. Right, you do it quietly and then you do it loud. وصيغتها لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك. So labbaik means ever at your service, ever at your service. Right. So it's dual, meaning one followed by another, followed by other. Like karratayni means one after another, after another, after another. Each one has a second one that follows it. That's what it means. So, I answer your beckon, you answer your call, one followed by another, followed by another. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. ويكررها ثلاثا, you repeat it 3 times. ثم يصلي على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. ثم يسأل الله رضاه, you say, oh Allah, accept me, give me Jannah, and protect me from the hellfire. ثم دعا بما أحب, you make whatever dua you want to make. وإذا رأى المحرم أو غيره شيئا يعجبه أو يكرهه قال لبيك إن العيش عيش الآخرة. Right, so if the muhrim sees something that he likes or something he dislikes, he turns away from these things. So in reality, liking and disliking are both signs of not having zuhud. Right, so wanting to get off the plane or not wanting to get off the plane, right, in reality is a sign that you don't have zuhud. Right, wanting anything other than what is happening right now, right, or wanting the now to remain, like my life is so amazing, I hope it would stay like this forever, like I wish this moment would last forever. This is called hubb ad-dunya. Or I wish this would never come back ever again. This is also hubb ad-dunya, right? So so this is when you say in al-aisha aisha akhir, you put your heart somewhere else. Right? I neither want nor not want. Go ahead, Yaqub.
The istithna is that if you like a sin or you do something makruh, then you should show karih, right?
Yeah, karah, like I don't like that. I don't like the sin though. There's something else. But you say, for example, like you're eating this cake, and it's like, I wish this cake would last forever. Right? Or you're eating some food that you hate. I wish this food would go away. Right? You're hanging out with your friend. I wish I could hang with this friend all the time. He's so cool. Or I wish this guy would stop talking. Both of these things are signs of hubb ad-dunya, as opposed to when your heart is somewhere else. You don't want things, nor do you not want things.
Even if it's a sunnah or a
Yeah, but that's amal. So there's things and a'mal. You want a'mal, right? So you look at things in terms of a'mal. So yes, I want that thing, meaning I want to do good deeds with that thing. Does that make sense?
So we're talking about things that are kharij
things that are not, because there's things and there are good deeds. They're not the same.
We're talking about things, not good deeds. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Talib.
I get this right. The talbiyah is always only said loud once at the beginning for both, with regards to men.
No, you say it quietly at the beginning and then you do it loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I just okay.
No worries. So this is really important, right? You see something. The real life is life for the akhirah. There's no real pain that is equal to the pain and despair of the akhirah and there's no pleasure that is in comparison to that of the akhirah. Everything is pointless. Right? قال لبيك إن العيش عيش الآخرة. Right? This is the right. Right. So basically, it says ويظهر تقييد لبيك بالمحرم. So when saying لبيك, you say لبيك إن العيش عيش الآخرة. That's when you ihram. Otherwise, everybody else, you see a Porsche, right? Nice car. إن العيش عيش الآخرة. It's not any. It's nothing. Right. So as opposed to what you can do with things. So when you do shukr, you've changed the thing into amal. Right. Here's this nice cake. Here's Turkish food. Right. Turkish food after Afghan food. Right. My wife's Afghan. Right. Turkish food after Afghan food is super nice. Right. Like, wow. Subhanallah. Like, it's amazing. I went to this Turkish restaurant once in Jordan, and like we just couldn't really afford to eat there, but the entree was like, that was it. We just had the entree. It was like totally amazing. You know, like, wow, that's amazing. Like, you know, so if you change food, right, into shukr, you've now changed things into amal, right? A cute cat, right, that you change from a cat into an act of affection. So, right, and so that's what, you know, so showing affection to created being, you change it into amal, right? Now it's worth something. Otherwise it's worthless. So I want tons of money because I want to do lots of good deeds with it. Of course, it's good idea, right? I want like you know, if I can get a 2% raise, I'll do it. You know, why not? I will do anything to continue to get a raise. I want more and more money because I want to do good things with it. Why? Of course, right? As opposed to things for things for good deeds versus things for things. Well, you send, go ahead, Badr.
Is there like a word for that concept where like of wanting and not wanting, but having no amal with it, or in Arabic?
It's called zuhud.
No, but zuhud is like when,
Like, I don't care
um,
about it. I'm not
yeah,
attached
yeah,
to it. Like,
yeah.
so
So
whether I have it or I don't, like, so the point is I could be a millionaire or not be a millionaire. Like, I don't, you know, I'm a millionaire or I'm not a millionaire. I'm free or I'm in prison. Like, I don't care. I'm
yeah,
really
yeah.
not interested in being free or not free. I just want to do good deeds, whatever the situation is. Not really, you know. Like, there's no change, right? Like, I'm not interested in and of it in itself.
So the opposite of that in these books is just referred to as hubud dunya.
Hubb dunya, exactly. But the point is, people don't understand hubb. People think hubb dunya is like, oh, you know, I want to have excessive wealth, right? That's not the case. But let's say, for example, I keep sniffing, and you're like, I wish that guy would stop sniffing. It's so annoying. So being irritated is called hubb dunya, because you want a particular thing, you know, as opposed to, I hope he would stop sniffing so I can focus on my prayer. You know what I'm saying? That's different, you know. But like, so being irritated with things, right? Or like, I wish my child would survive. You know, I just want my child to survive. That's all. That's called hubb dunya, right? People are like, what do you mean hubb dunya? Is that quite normal? It's like, yeah, it's normal, but it's called hubb dunya. Like, you want your child to survive because you want your child to survive, as opposed to, I wish he could survive so that he can do good deeds. I wish he could survive so that I could do good deeds through him or her. You know. Otherwise, what's the point in these things? Okay, ويسن الغسل للإحرام. Okay, it says فصل ويسن الغسل للإحرام, and it's sunnah to make ghusl before you enter ihram. ولدخول مكة, and to make ghusl again before you enter ihram. ولدخول مكة ولوقوف عرفة ومزدلفة to before you go to Arafah and before you go to Muzdalifah ولرمي أيام التشريق, right, and then the stoning on the 11th, 12th and 13th وتطيب بدنه للإحرام دون ثوبه, and it is sunnah to put perfume on your body, not on your clothes. So if you put it on your clothes, that's fine, but if you take those clothes off, you can't put those clothes on again, right? So you put perfume on your body, on your hair, etc. That's fine, but when your clothes, if you put it on your clothes, you take it off, then you can't keep it there. Go ahead, Talib. Go ahead, Talib.
Oh, I'm sorry, my microphone. Um, it says لرمي. Does it refer to each day, like 3
Yeah,
times?
I believe so, yeah. كل يوم, here we go. لرمي الجمار كل يوم من أيام التشريق.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know whether the facilities there are like make that possible even? Like taking ghusl at Arafah and
Yeah.
Muzdalifah and so on and so forth?
Arafah is a bit difficult, but like Mina, you can do it. Yeah, so some of these things, some of the things are going to be difficult, or you could do it, but you make things difficult for other people, right? So what's a priority? It's like it's difficult. Make things easier for people, right? So it is possible. Many of these scenarios are possible. And if you can imagine, again, in the past, like how do you make ghusl? Okay, you just stand there in the street with a towel at a place where the water could flow away and just put water over your head, Like people, you can make ghusl in the street as a man. You know what I'm saying?
Did you say with a towel?
Yeah, with a towel. You're just
Like,
there with a towel around you. Nobody can see you, right? And you just make sure you put, like you could, it's possible, just like a man, you could change in the street, right? You could change in the street without your aura being exposed. So the same thing is like, you're in a situation, where you just have like, here's some water with you. You're traveling with some water and that's it. Here's a towel and put it around you and just make also like that. Like we have that, like life at the time process and the way they live life is just like as if you're camping. And it's like this is how it is. Simple life. They don't have a shower, curtain, they don't have walls, just like whatever. So you can imagine doing those kind of things. It says here ويندب الجماع قبل الإحرام خصوصا لمن يشق عليه تركه. Right, so somebody who's about to go into ihram, it is recommended for that person to have intercourse because they're about to be in ihram and you can't have intercourse. Right, so this is like the same concept with fasting. Right, you're supposed to delay your suhoor as much as possible and break your fast as much as possible. Right? Okay. ولبس إزار. Go ahead, Talib.
did you say that it is recommended to break your fast as much as possible?
As soon as possible.
As soon, didn't you say soon and much? Did I mishear you? Okay.
I'm falling asleep. Maybe it's the case. So as soon as possible.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So here's an example, right? Here's an example that let's say for example, how does the person how did the Protestant view intercourse, or how should the believer view intercourse or marriage in general? Is like it is totally uninterested in itself, because that's dunya in itself. Otherwise, it's something that helps you in your deen, so therefore it's useful, right? So it's totally, so the Prophet ﷺ encouraged having relations frequently. It's an important sunnah, but that's not sunnah in itself. So this person's, for example, upset because they're not able to, or they're not able to get married or whatever. Like, well, why? If that's not That's like somebody who's making tayammum instead of making wudu, right? It's like as long as it's amal, if you see it as amal, you don't gonna care whether you can get married or you can't get married or whatever. You're not really interested. You're interested in if I'm able to do this, then there's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants people to do. And it's a good thing to do, right? It helps people in the deen. But if it's not possible, because it's not possible, whatever, fine. Right. Okay, so one, and then it says here, وَلُبْسُ إِزَارٍ وَرِدَاءٍ أَبْيَضَيْنِ جَدِيدَيْنِ ثُمَّ مَغْسُولَيْنِ. It's recommended to wear a white cloak and a white izar that are new, and if not possible, if it can't be new, then it should be washed. أَبْيَضَيْنِ وَنَعْلَيْنِ, and to wear two sandals. Right. So it says, ويسن للمرأة لبس البياض ويكره لها لبس المصبوغ. Right, that's very interesting, right? So women are supposed to wear white as well on Hajj. It says تنبيه, note, قضية كلام كثيرين كالإيضاح والروضة. So the إيضاح by Imam Nawawi is a book on Hajj. والروضة by Imam Nawawi. أن التجرد عن المخيط سنة قبل إحرام. So they say apparently that it's sunnah to change out of the clothes that you won't be able to wear in ihram before you enter ihram. So they're saying it's sunnah to change into the right clothes before you enter ihram. وفي المجموع وغيره أنه واجب. So is it wajib or is it sunnah? وأطالك كل لترجيح ما قاله وبينت ذلك في الأصل والواجب غير بعيد. It's not far-fetched, right? So I believe the mu'tamad, right, that it's not wajib. You don't have to do that. But basically, as soon as you're into ihram, you have to change your clothes. So that's a bit stupid, right? So it's almost like saying, you could start the prayer with your awrah exposed, but as soon as you start the prayer, you now have to cover your awrah. Like that would be a bit funny, right? So it's the same kind of thing. It's like you enter as soon as you are in ihram, it's now haram for you to wear those clothes. You have to take them off immediately, right? Go ahead.
With regards to the previous statement, the sunnah for women, does lubsul masbuh mean like anything other than white, basically?
Yes, anything other than white.
It's makruh to not wear white for women. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? But you can also imagine when they say white, they're going to mean like egg color, and it's also going to get dirty because of this, right? So you can imagine like proper going on Hajj in the old days is everyone stinks, you know? Like everyone stinks, everyone's disheveled. You know, here's this woman, she doesn't have a niqab on. She looks so uncouth, you know? She's like, you don't look nice. Like you don't have your hat on. You look like an idiot, right? Like you look like your hair's all over the place. You smell like that wasn't it wasn't really fitness not a major issue. Yes, it comes in the seerah, right? It comes in a hadith where who is it? Fadl, right? Fadl ibn Abbas looking at this woman. Yeah, it can happen. But the general idea is that you dress down and you don't dress up, and everybody looks like they're in a state. Go ahead, Yaqub.
You might have answered it, but I heard Imam Malik, he like didn't wash his garment for a few years, his ihram. Is that so you are supposed to be disheveled. You're not supposed to.
I mean, the thing is, so you can't combing, like some of them, they don't like people combing their hair at all while they're in ihram. You can't cut your nails. So imagine if you entered into ihram like a month before Hajj, you know, no perfume, no deodorant. So I mean, in principle, you could have deodorant that has odorless, but it's quite difficult to find it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. The point is, you come to Allah in a state. You're not in a good state. Like you'd be traveling day after day after day. You know. So the whole idea of like how people look and seeing, it's like Allahu Alam. Now today you have to be careful, right? So all sorts of crazy things happen, and so because it's just there's so many more people there, right? And so you got to be careful. Anyway, okay. Let's stop there, inshallah ta'ala. So we say, okay. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وسلم. So we have, inshallah, a few more classes left. But as we mentioned, inshallah, we'll be restarting this book pretty soon, inshallah ta'ala. So we have Hajj, and then we're going to go to Udhiyah and Aqiqah and some miscellaneous topics, and then go back to the beginning, inshallah ta'ala. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad. And as I mentioned, so Sheikh Talib asked, like, what's the level of the class? The level of the class is the level of the students, right? So if nobody understood Arabic, I'd have to do the book in English again. If if everybody's reading Hashit Quruddin Talmasi, then that's the class, right? Like if that was the class, like we're gonna sit there and we're gonna go through Hashit Talmasi and Hashit Qurdi, and that's the class then, right? So the class is the class, meaning the lesson is depending on who's in the class, like the group of people. Inshallah. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.